Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before we begin this video, don't forget to give it a like. It truly encourages us to keep sharing beneficial content, inshallah. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our future videos on faith, spirituality, and Islamic reminders. Barakallahu feekum. May Allah bless you, and enjoy the video. There are moments in life when your heart begins to feel something you can't quite explain. A whisper that echoes quietly inside your soul. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's consistent. And you begin to wonder, is this for me? Or is Allah telling me something? When it comes to relationships, this inner whisper becomes even more important because love can blur our spiritual senses. But when Allah wants to guide you towards something or away from someone, He often begins with your heart. The heart, after all, is not just an organ. In Islam, it is the center of spiritual perception, and when Allah speaks through it, you will feel it differently than anything else. Have you ever felt an unexplained calm about someone? Not excitement, not obsession, but a kind of inner stillness that makes you breathe deeper when they are around? Or maybe the opposite. Your mind says everything is okay, but your heart feels uneasy, like something just doesn't sit right. These are not random feelings. These are spiritual impressions, signs. And Allah, in His mercy, sometimes places these signs right in your chest, so that even when you don't have all the facts, your soul still knows which way to turn. The Quran reminds us, indeed, and that are signs for people who reflect. 30:21. But how many of us take the time to reflect? Most people rush into relationships driven by emotions, attraction, or fear of being alone. But the believer is taught to pause, to ask, to listen, not just to the voice of people, but to the state of their own soul. Because when Allah is guiding you, He doesn't always send lightning. Sometimes He sends clarity, not in words, but in peace. Peace that settles in your heart like a calm sea after a storm. And that peace is often the message. Allah's guidance often doesn't make noise. It doesn't always come with answers right away, but it is deeply felt. There are times when a person walks into your life, and something about them brings you closer to Allah. They don't just make you feel seen, they make you feel spiritually alive. You find yourself praying more, being more patient, remembering Allah more often. That is not a coincidence. That is a sign, because Allah says, the good men are for the good women, and the good women are for the good men. Quran 2400 hours 26. And so when someone is good for your soul, when they make you want to be better, this could be a sign that Allah is aligning your hearts for a purpose beyond this world. But how do you know for sure that this feeling is from Allah and not just your own emotion? The answer is in your connection with Him. The more you remember Allah, the more your heart becomes clean. And a clean heart becomes like a mirror. It reflects truth clearly. So when you feel peace about someone after prayer, after a stickera, after seeking guidance, that peace is not just from you. That peace is a possible message, a quiet confirmation from the one who knows the unseen. Sometimes Allah puts someone on your heart before He puts them in your life. And that's where the test begins. Because the timing might not be what you expected. The situation might not be ideal. But your heart won't let go, not in a clingy way, but in a hopeful way. You feel pulled, but not desperate. You feel connected, but not obsessed. This is how Allah plants seeds of purpose, slowly, intentionally, silently. There's also the opposite. When Allah doesn't want someone for you, no matter how many times you try to convince yourself, your heart will feel it. You will try to force peace, but it won't come. You will try to justify their behavior, but your soul will feel uneasy. You may love them, but the peace isn't there. And that absence of peace, that tension, is also a message. Sometimes a louder message than words could ever be. Allah's signs are not always external. He doesn't just speak through events. He speaks through stillness, through the state of your soul. When you are with someone Allah has chosen for you, your fitra, your natural state, will feel in alignment. You will feel like you are not hiding any part of yourself. You will feel closer to your true identity. Because love that is from Allah doesn't confuse. It clarifies. It doesn't weaken your deen. It strengthens it. The heart is a sacred space. It is the throne where faith sits. And when you are wondering if Allah is telling you something about your relationship, begin there. Don't just look at red flags or green flags. Look at your soul. Are you becoming more humble? Are you remembering Allah more often? Are you gaining spiritual courage? If yes, then maybe your heart is holding a message from your Lord. So when you feel that nudge in your heart, don't ignore it. Don't silence it with noise or numb it with distractions. Instead, take it to prayer. Sit with it, reflect, and ask Allah, Ya Allah, if this is from you, make it easy. If it's not, remove it from my heart. That dua alone can change everything. Because when you are sincere, Allah responds. And when He speaks to your heart, it's never without wisdom. There are times in life when you want something so deeply, your heart clings to it with everything it has. You tell yourself, this is the one. I just know it. But then, the path becomes unclear. The doors begin to close. You try to make things work, but everything feels forced. And still, your heart doesn't want to let go. In these moments, it's easy to blame yourself, to think maybe you're not praying hard enough. Maybe you're not patient enough. But what if Allah is protecting you in ways you can't see? When Allah doesn't want something for you, especially a relationship, He doesn't always remove it suddenly. Sometimes He lets you see the truth in stages. He allows certain things to be revealed. People show their real intentions. Their actions stop matching their words. Their presence begins to drain you more than it uplifts you. These are not just emotional reactions. These are divine interventions. Because Allah knows what you do not know. Perhaps you hate something and it is good for you. And perhaps you love something and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you know not. Quran 2:216. Your heart may be screaming that you want this person. You may be praying, begging, and waiting for change. But when Allah starts blocking the path, not once, but over and over again, that's not a coincidence. That is love. That is mercy. That is protection. Because the same Lord who created your heart knows exactly what it needs and what would destroy it slowly if you stayed in the wrong connection. It's not easy to let go when you've already imagined a future with someone, when you've prayed for them, when you believed they were part of your destiny. But remember this, sometimes Allah answers your prayers not by giving you what you want, but by removing what would keep you from what you need. The heartbreak is not punishment, it's purification. It's Allah removing what doesn't align with your purpose, your soul, your peace. Ask yourself, if you have to fight so hard to hold on to this relationship, is it really from Allah? Or are you fighting against the signs He's already sent you? You may not understand now. You may feel lost, confused, even betrayed. But the day will come, maybe soon, maybe later, when you'll look back and say, Alhamdulillah, it didn't work out. Because Allah had something better. Not just in another person, but in who you were becoming through the test. Let go with trust. If Allah is closing this chapter, it's because He's about to write one more beautiful than you could ever imagine. And when it's finally right, it won't be a struggle. It will feel like peace. We often confuse what our heart wants with what is truly right for us. In love, the lines between desire and destiny can become blurry. You feel connected to someone, drawn to their presence, maybe even convinced they are the one. But in Islam, love is not defined only by emotions. It's guided by purpose, by compatibility, and most importantly, by divine will. What your heart wants isn't always what Allah wants for you. And what Allah wants for you is always better than what you want for yourself. Many people fall in love with potential. They fall for dreams, for emotions, for fantasies they've built in their minds. But true love, the kind that is blessed, the kind that elevates, is rooted in reality. It is rooted in the remembrance of Allah. It is rooted in clarity, not confusion. If someone pulls you away from your deen, if their presence makes your faith weaker, if your prayers become fewer because of your attachment to them, then that love is a test, not a blessing. The Prophet Muhammad taught us the value of istikhara, of turning to Allah when we are uncertain. Why? Because no matter how much your heart desires someone, only Allah knows what lies ahead. When you pray istikhara sincerely, you are asking Allah to override your emotions and guide you toward what is best for your soul. And Allah never ignores the sincere dua of a heart seeking truth. Even if the answer hurts. Even if the guidance means letting go of someone you thought you'd marry. When Allah wants someone for you, things align. Not in a fairy tale kind of way, but in a spiritually peaceful way. You don't have to chase. You don't have to fight to be seen. You don't feel drained trying to earn their love. Instead, you feel calm. You feel encouraged to become a better Muslim. You feel like you're walking toward Allah together, not away from Him. That's how you know the love is not just from your nafs, but approved by your Creator. The heart can be deceived when it is disconnected from Allah. But when the heart is close to its Lord, it begins to recognize real love. Love that is not based on beauty, money, or chemistry, but on deen, character, patience, and commitment. Love that survives storms because it was built on faith, not just feelings. So before asking, do I want this person? Ask instead, does this person bring me closer to Allah? Do I feel more myself around them? Do I feel spiritually safe? If the answer is yes, it could be a divine sign. If the answer is no, then even if your heart wants it, trust that Allah has something greater. Because in the end, love isn't about getting what you want. It's about receiving what Allah knows you need. And He never gives less than the best. Sometimes, the message from Allah is not about them. It's about you. We focus so much on the person we want, the relationship we hope for, the signs we believe we're receiving about someone else, that we miss what Allah is truly trying to show us. It's not always about confirming a relationship. Sometimes, it's about preparing your soul to carry the love you've been praying for. Because Allah doesn't just send blessings. He prepares you to be ready for them. You may be asking Allah, why is it taking so long? Why does it feel like I'm waiting endlessly for love? But what if Allah is answering you? Not with a partner, but with growth, with healing, with purification? Because if you're still carrying wounds from the past, insecurities, impatience, or unhealed pain, how can you expect to enter a relationship with peace? Love doesn't fix brokenness, it exposes it. That's why Allah, in His divine mercy, sometimes delays the connection until your heart is strong enough to carry the responsibility that comes with real love. The Quran says, indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. Quran 13:11. This verse doesn't just apply to society. It applies to you, to your personal journey. Before Allah brings someone into your life, He often asks, have you cleaned your heart? Have you found contentment in Him alone? Have you become the kind of person you hope to marry? Sometimes, the waiting season is not punishment, it's protection. It's a sacred time where Allah is building you silently. He's removing attachments that distract you, breaking illusions that hurt you, and guiding you to trust Him deeper. You may feel lonely, but in that loneliness, He's bringing you closer to Him. You may feel like your prayers are unanswered, but in truth, they're being prepared. And here's the powerful truth. The more you focus on becoming the best version of yourself for Allah, the more you naturally attract what's meant for you. The person Allah sends will not complete you. They will meet you at the level Allah has raised you to. So the real question isn't, is this the person? But, am I becoming the person Allah wants me to be before love arrives? Don't rush the process. The delay isn't denial. It's divine design. And when the time is right, Allah will write a story so perfect. One that begins with you becoming whole and ends with someone whose soul aligns with yours in worship, in love, and in purpose. May Allah bless you and guide you to a life filled with mercy, love, and tranquility.